no specific software for geotechnical engineering, but there are other softwares which can help you to do various stuffs in geotechnical engineering. So next is, let's look at an example. So the question is, what if there were no software for civil engineers? What will, what is going to happen then? Or how did civil engineers managed when there were no software? So it's not like softwares, all these software that we have in the previous slide, they were there from starting, from the biblical ages. No, they came later on, right? They came just in a few, I would say, in before few years before, and that is the reason we have to appreciate how the civil engineers were working before the arrival of these software. We are very lucky to have these software right now with us, which can help us to make things easier. But there's also a disadvantage of software. You know, it's actually related to employment. Why I'm saying that? Because now anyone can learn software and they can get a job, right? But later on they will realize that they don't actually know any basic concepts or something, and they will have trouble with the job or something, and they might have to, you know, they might get fired or something. But the problem is people are being recruited based on these software, but they are not, no one is recruiting based on the theoretical knowledge or the basic knowledge that the person has. Even if you have designed a beam or designed a whole building manually using Excel, people, you know, recruiters will prefer someone who knows how to operate STAAD Pro or how to operate ETABS or SAP 2000. But what they should do is they should hire someone who has a very, you know, basic knowledge of designing. If we are talking about structural designing, let's say, if I'm the recruiter, I'll hire someone who has a good knowledge of designing, then I'll train him or her on the software which is needed, and then it will be a good combination. Otherwise, if you hire someone who just has a knowledge of software, then that's not something you would want to do, because later on there will be problems. There will be problems when there will be complexity in the work. If the job becomes more and more complex, then the person who just has a knowledge of software, then they would be having trouble. So that's the thing I'm saying. So you can see here, what if there were no software for civil engineers? What is going to happen? You might have seen this picture on Facebook or something, some kind of meme or something. So you can see this is life before AutoCAD, and this reminds us of our first year in engineering when we were, I don't know, first or second, I think. uh, we were given that drafter, you know, that drafter which we were carrying all around the college. In that cylindrical box we used to keep the drawing sheets and everything. I don't know what is happening right now, but uh, 5 years back it was something like that. Maybe now also it's something which is done. It's you know why that is necessary, because you should have a basic understanding of how drafting is done, you know, manually. Then you are taught AutoCAD. It's not like you are directly exposed to AutoCAD. You're first taught about the basic drafting skills, then you would understand, and at that moment only you would understand how difficult it is, and then you search for alternatives, and then you ask your faculty members, you ask your teachers, is there any alternative for this manual drafting? Then they will tell you, yeah, there is, learn AutoCAD. So then you start learning AutoCAD, and you would appreciate then how much important AutoCAD is, how much useful AutoCAD is, because now you saw what was happening when you were not using AutoCAD, how difficult it was to draft any kind of a plan, to draw any kind of a plan. So this is another example. You can see, to draw any kind of a plan, it took a lot of time, a lot of effort, uh, and you can see how difficult and complex it is for everyone. You can see these drafters here, these big drafters and all. I don't know what it is called. I think drafter only. Then came AutoCAD, and it came in December 1982. This was the very first software which was specifically useful for civil engineers who are into, who needs some software which can help them to draft their plan, the plan which is finalized, you know, the top view of a building, or the plan view of a building, which is a finalized plan. That means after the designing and everything is done, you would draft the whole plan on AutoCAD, you'll print it, and you'll send it to the construction site. And they will just look at the plan, and they will construct the building using that plan. When you do it manually, it will take a lot of time, and there might be lots of mistakes as well. So AutoCAD helps us to uh, reduce those kinds of errors, those kinds of mistakes. And yeah, so it came in December 1982, and this is how it looked like initially. You can see this is also complex right now. If you look at this version of AutoCAD, it looks very complex. It looks like it's very difficult to do stuffs there, but people found that this was easier than drafting it manually. But for us, for me also, if I talk about myself, I would not be able to operate that machine. I would not call it a software. I'll call it a machine, because there are lots of hardwares as well. You can see the one the person is holding, and there are keyboards and also very different. So it's more complex. And now we have a very user-friendly version of AutoCAD. I would say AutoCAD is the only software which has been improved a lot of times. And right now, the version of AutoCAD that we are seeing, that's actually a fully improved version, the best version any software can have, and it will keep on improving. There's no other software like that. Even if you talk about STAAD Pro, ETABS, SAP 2000, QGIS, and various other softwares, they were developed few years back only. When I say few years, means 10, 20 years or something. uh, so that's why they have not been updated too many times, so that they become the best version of that particular software. And that is why I would say it will take the other softwares a lot of time to reach the level AutoCAD has reached right now, because it has been improved a lot. And now if you look at the latest version of AutoCAD, it's a very you can say a very much improved version of AutoCAD. I was using AutoCAD 2006 or 2005 earlier during the college days, and I can compare how different it is now, how easier it is, how user friendly it is. You don't, if I tell you the truth, you actually do not need an instructor to learn AutoCAD. You don't need a trainer to learn AutoCAD. AutoCAD itself helps you to learn AutoCAD. Why? Because there are lots of things in the interface which you can look into, and AutoCAD will direct you what you have to do. It's not like you need any instructor. So that's what I'm saying. Uh, as soon as time progresses, all the softwares will become easier and easier, and no one would need any kind of a trainer or instructor in future to learn these software, because the ultimate goal of these software manufacturing industries like Oracle, Autodesk, CSI America, and all these, the industries or the company which are developing these software, what they want is they want these software to be user friendly. so that more and more people can adopt adapt these softwares, and they can use these softwares, and they can learn this very quickly. So as time progresses, I'm expecting that we would be needing lesser help of instructors in futures, of trainers. These kinds of trainings would not be arranged in future, because then it will be quite easier for people to learn software if they have the software itself. Software itself will tell you what exactly to do. But having said that, I would tell you one more thing, that if we progress in future, if you progress in future in time, you will also see development of new softwares. Okay, some brand new softwares will also get developed. For that, you would be needing the help of instructors and trainers. So it's not like it will never be there, these kinds of trainings. It will be needed. Just like the example of AutoCAD, I'm saying AutoCAD, Excel, all these softwares are very user friendly. You don't need any instructor. So like this, all other softwares will also evolve themselves, and they will become easier for everyone to use it. But if you want to do any project on a software, if you want to execute any project on a software, for that you might need the help of instructor. That's the only thing for which you will be needing help. Just to operate the software is very easy. It's not like you have to ask someone where to click or what to do. The software itself will tell you. But to doing projects will be something which you have to look into. And now you can see, earlier it was like this, then this, and now this. You can see we have lots of softwares around, and this is AutoCAD 2D and 3D. Both 2D and 3D are there. You can work on both, and not only 2D models, you can also develop 3D models. So now I have categorized list of important software for civil engineers and students, and these are the categories. I've divided all the softwares into 10 categories. If there are any other software, they will fall into these categories only. If there are any other softwares as well, right? So yeah, okay. So first of all, basic calculations and data analysis. This is the category where you'll find software which will help you to do the manual calculations very easily and analyze the data. Second is 2D drafting and drawing, then 3D architectural modeling. And this is actually, all these should be taught in this order only, from top to bottom. First, you should learn softwares which are useful for basic calculations and data analysis. Like, just give me an example of the first category. Any example of first category? Any software that falls in the first category? I already have discussed one of them. Anyone? What do you say?
Excel.
Excel, that's correct. So Microsoft Excel is an example which falls into this category, which is basic calculations and data analysis. And then students should learn 2D drafting and drawing. Then after they have learned the 2D drafting part, they should think of 3D modeling, how to model these plans in 3D. So they should move to 3D modeling, 3D architectural modeling, that's it, not the structural modeling. Then the next is structural analysis and design. Once they have modeled it in 3D, they should ask themselves, what material will I use in these structural elements? What will be the dimension of the columns? What should be the not the dimensions and everything you have already decided in the model itself. You would ask yourself what kind of material I should use, so that this much dimension which I have finalized in the architectural model, that will be sufficient to withstand the whole structure. So you will be asking yourself what material I should use, what grade of concrete I should use, what grade of steel I should use in the RCC, or if it is a steel structure, then also what what kind of section of steel I should use. Will that be I section, T section, channel section, angle section? What kind of section I should use? What connections I should use? Bolted, rivet, welding, welded. What kind of connection I should use? Or if let's say if it is, even if you have finalized the model, then are we seeing any kind of deflection which is out of the limits? Is any of the structural elements deflecting more than they should? So all those things you need to ask yourself, and for that the fourth category will be useful: structural analysis and design. Once you have done the structural analysis and design, you should look for uh, that means you have finalized the model and everything, you have finalized the drawing, and now you actually want to construct this structure on ground on the site. So for that you will be needing construction project management and building information modeling as well, both building information modeling and construction project management. Building information modeling to make your model more and more informative, because building information modeling simply means modeling the building with information. If you put more and more information into the model, that means you are actually using BIM. Why? Even if I put a door in my model, I have to mention what is the price of that door, what is the who is the manufacturer of that door, which company manufactures that door, what's the material of that door, what's the dimension of the door, everything about that door I have to mention. What's the fire rating of that door, how much is it combustible or not? So all those things you have to put into the model. Why? Because then it becomes easier for you to manage the whole structure, not only during construction but even after construction, when it's the when it's the service management, when the building is being used by people. And if you want to take any decision based on these informations in the model, you can take those decisions. If you want to change something in the model itself, you will change it and see if that change is fine or not. So all those things can be done using BIM. And then serving, all these last four are actually not in order. 7, 8, 9, 10 can be used during the first six itself, like surveying and geographic information system. This will be needed before constructing the building. You need to do surveying, right? You need to mark the points and everything. And even after the construction starts, once the construction starts, when you move from one floor to another, you also have to mark the points of the column, and you have to see if the column falls in the right place or not. Then quantity survey and estimation is also used to estimate the total quantity of the structural elements, and also you can estimate the total cost of the project using it. Traffic and transport planning is also one category, which is used for highway, the road alignment design, traffic signal design, and all that. Statistical analysis is something which can be used at any point of time. So first of all, basic calculations and data analysis. Let's see what software we have for this. For this, we have Microsoft Excel. You can see. So Microsoft Excel, as some of you also said, is one of the softwares which can be helpful to you. And there are some alternatives as well. There are various spreadsheet. Its general name is spreadsheet, and spreadsheet can be of different types, based on the type of software you're using. So generally it is called spreadsheets. And to work on spreadsheets, you can use Microsoft Excel. There is also, I think, Google Sheets. Google Sheets are there, which are also a form of spreadsheet. But the Google Sheets are something for which you will, it's a cloud-based software. So whatever you do there, it gets updated. But I don't actually like Google Sheets. If you compare it with Microsoft Excel, I would not recommend Google Sheets. Microsoft Excel is the one that you should use. It's faster than Google Sheets. Those who have worked on it must will be knowing about it. And Microsoft Excel has lots of features which are not there in Google Sheets. So I would prefer Microsoft Excel because that's the software which actually, this is a software which actually brought the culture of using spreadsheets for making things easier. So that's the the fundamental software that everyone is using. Now again, for basic calculations and data analysis, there can be many other software like MATLAB. MATLAB is used for data analysis as well, data analysis, statistical analysis, and all that. But MATLAB is a more advanced software which students from MTech uses the software. Those who are doing post graduation and all, they're working on thesis, on various research projects they're working, so they need MATLAB. But initially during the graduation, you would be needing Microsoft Excel only. That's fine. Now 2D drafting and drawing, we have AutoCAD, and you can see. And about Microsoft Excel, from where you can get Microsoft Excel, you can get it by the name itself. It suggests Microsoft. You have to buy it from Microsoft. If you do not have it on your computer, usually it comes inbuilt in your computer as per the purchase plan. But if you don't have it, you can purchase it from Microsoft. And people also use various clone versions of it, or I would not say clone versions, you can say crack versions of these softwares. So crack versions are everywhere, for all the softwares I'm talking about. Crack versions are available, but I would not recommend them because they have lots of errors, lots of bugs are there. So yeah. Then 2D drafting and drawing, we have AutoCAD. And I think all of you know about AutoCAD. The best thing about AutoCAD is it is available for free to students. It's free for 3 years. The version which I'm using is also free for 3 years, and I use the free version only. I don't use crack version because I don't like crack version. They have lots of problems, lots of errors are there. So I'll show you the AutoCAD version which I use personally. So you can see the bunch of all the softwares which I'm using. This is the AutoCAD 2020, which is the latest one, and there will be up more versions of it coming. And you can see there is Microsoft Project, and also this is the AutoCAD. And Excel, I don't put it on desktop, but it's there. I'll just show you. It's inbuilt in every computer. Most of the computer, if you're having a laptop, you'll be having Microsoft Office Excel 2007 version is there. So that's the AutoCAD, and AutoCAD will help you to draft 2D drawings as well as 3D models. But I would not prefer AutoCAD for 3D models. AutoCAD is not specialized in 3D models. That you have to understand. Do not use AutoCAD for 3D models. Yeah, it can be useful for mechanical engineers. Mechanical engineers can use to model various various machine parts they have to model. Those in till that level, it is fine. You can use AutoCAD 3D. And when I say AutoCAD 3D, it's not two different softwares. It's the same software, AutoCAD itself. There you have two modes. One is the 2D mode, one is the 3D mode, 3D modeling mode. So in 3D modeling mode, I would say my mechanical engineers have a better use of it, 3D models. But for civil engineers, I would not recommend AutoCAD if you're using it for 3D models. Just use 2D drafting. And I also, people ask me to deliver trainings on 3D, AutoCAD 3D for civil engineers. I just tell them that it's not useful. I tell them that there are various alternatives that you can use. No one uses AutoCAD for 3D modeling. Never learn. You can learn various commands for 3D modeling, but don't use it for 3D modeling. Okay. First of all, the graphics are not that good as compared to other alternatives that we have in the market. Then the functions are also not too much in 3D. In 2D drafting, AutoCAD is the best. There is no replacement for AutoCAD in 2D drafting, but in 3D modeling, there are lots of alternatives which are better than AutoCAD. So use AutoCAD just for 2D drafting. If you're a civil engineer, if you're a mechanical engineer, use it for 3D as well. It just provides the result that you need. You know, those machine parts that you can model in 3D, they work fine. But for civil engineers, I would just recommend 2D drafting, which has no alternative. Just AutoCAD is the best one you can use for 2D drafting and drawing. So next, 3D architecture modeling. So when I said that do not use 3D modeling in AutoCAD, I was actually telling you about this. Use this, ArchiCAD. AutoCAD is from Autodesk. So you can go to Autodesk website and download AutoCAD for free. It is free for students. You know, for 3 years, I guess. Last time I downloaded and installed, it was free for 3 years. I think 1 year back I installed, so it was free for 3 years. I got the license for 3 years. This is 3D architectural modeling, and here you have various alternatives. Like you also have Revit. Revit is also there. Revit architecture. Revit architecture can be used for 3D architectural modeling, and there is also Graphisoft ArchiCAD. So two alternatives you have here. 3D architectural modeling. One is ArchiCAD, which is from Graphisoft. Graphisoft is the developer for this, and Revit is from Autodesk itself. So Autodesk has two major products. One is AutoCAD, and the other is Revit. And there are other products also they are developing, but Revit is the well-known one. So for 3D architectural modeling means you're not designing the structure, you're just modeling it. You're doing the interior designing, exterior designing and all. And just the modeling part, architectural modeling part, you're taking care through ArchiCAD. And there is also Revit architecture, which you can use. You can see these kinds of interior you can get. Yeah, and you can do interior designing. You can see the graphics. These kinds of graphics you can't get in AutoCAD. You can see that's the exterior. This kind of model you can create using ArchiCAD. I also teach ArchiCAD. I have few models which students have created. I can also show you. I think some of the students, they created some video tour of their models. So I'll show you that if I get some time. So this is the interior model. This it can be better. It's just the picture which it is shown. Otherwise, if you actually look at the model, there are many details that you are not seeing here, but you'll see in the model itself. This is the exterior model using ArchiCAD. Now, once you have modeled the structure, you would want to design it. You would want to see whether that structure is safe or not. You would, as per the loads and everything, which it will be exposed to, and you would also want to ask, what kind of material should I use? Should I use steel, concrete, which will be best? So for that, we have these four options. The first one, the very basic one, is STAAD Pro, which is the oldest one, I would say. STAAD Pro, and STAAD Pro is from Bentley. Bentley is the developer of STAAD Pro. And for ETABS, SAP 2000, and SAFE 2016, the developer is CSI America. CSI America is the developer of these three: ETABS, SAP 2000, and SAFE 2016. So you can also go to CSI America website. You can get these softwares, trial version of these softwares, and you can look into them. I also teach these. And those trial versions can be used for long. There are few tricks you can use to use it for a longer period of time. So I'll show you where these softwares are. You can see this is AutoCAD here. Where is ArchiCAD? This is ArchiCAD, you can see. And this is where is ETABS. You can see this is ETABS. and then SAFE. This is SAFE 2016. There is SAP as well. This is STAAD, STAAD Pro, STAAD Foundation. So these are the softwares which are used for designing, and there is STAAD Foundation as well, which is not mentioned here. So you can see this is SAP 2000. If you want to design a beam, see, very important thing that many people do not do, many students do not do is, when you're learning beam designing, beam analysis, shear force diagram, bending moment diagram, deflection diagram, the best way to learn these things is first analyze the beam manually. Okay, draw the shear force diagram, draw the bending moment diagram, draw the deflection diagram, find out the maximum deflection. Then open SAP 2000 or STAAD Pro and try to draw the same beam with the same load. Do not consider the self weight. If you're not considering the self weight, same condition, put the same condition and check whether you're getting the same result on software or not. This way you would learn two things. One is the basic concepts, the theoretical concepts, because you're doing manually as well, and also the practical concepts of software. You know, the uh, how the software is giving you the results, and you can also check your results, and it will build your confidence. So this is how I approach these software. First, I usually start with a very small problem, and I'll see whether the software works well or not. Does it give the same result or not? Then I move on to more complex problems. Okay, and while teaching also I use the same technique. So that way, you know, it builds the confidence of students, and you yourself will be feeling more and more confident if you get the same results. So then slowly increase the level of questions, increase the level of problems, and then you will see you will get the same kind of results. And ETABS, this was SAP 2000, which is used for general purpose designing. That means you can design anything on SAP 2000, column, beam, trusses, frames, buildings. ETABS is specifically made for building design. So if you just want to do building design, ETABS is the best. It's actually the same interface. If you look at the SAP 2000 interface and ETABS interface, it's almost same. But ETABS is developed specifically for building design, and the developer is same, CSI America. So ETABS is the one which you'll use for building designing. And the best example is Burj Khalifa. Burj Khalifa was actually designed using ETABS. I mean, it's not like you will design everything using ETABS and rely on its result. ETABS, you know, the softwares are used as reference. It's not like you will rely on these softwares totally. There will be cross checks as well, manual cross checks. So ETABS was actually used for the design of Burj Khalifa, and it was tested on ETABS. SAFE, SAFE is used for foundation design. As you can see here, SAFE is specifically for foundation design, and you can see the interface is almost same for all these three softwares: SAP 2000, ETABS, and SAFE. SAFE is for foundation design. It's from the same developer, CSI America. Then comes the STAAD Pro. STAAD Pro is from Bentley, and it is used for anything. You want to design a beam, column, frames, buildings, anything you want, you can use STAAD Pro. I think most of you are aware of STAAD Pro. It's little, I would not say STAAD Pro is user friendly. It's the, if I have to, you know, if I have to rate all the softwares which I use on the basis of how much user friendly they are, STAAD Pro will be at the bottom of the list. Why? Because it's not user friendly. If you are exposed to STAAD Pro, if you open STAAD Pro, you would have no idea what to do. So that's the problem with STAAD Pro. And that's why CSI America has taken advantage of it. They have developed softwares which are user friendly, which are better than STAAD Pro. But I would say STAAD Pro also gives the same kind of results. Some people prefer STAAD Pro more than ETABS or SAP 2000 or SAFE, because it also has some advantages. There is STAAD editor, which you can use to make your design more customized. So there are lots of things, and it's also based on the preference of people. In India, many people use STAAD Pro. If you go out, you will find that people use CSI America products like ETABS, SAP 2000 and all. Now people are switching to ETABS and SAP 2000, but there are many industries which are still using STAAD Pro. Now, if you jump to construction project management, we have, you know, two alternatives here, two major alternatives, two major options, I would say, not alternatives. Two major options we have. The first is Microsoft Project, and the other one is Oracle Primavera, or Primavera P6, you can call it. So I'll just show you where these are. So you can see this is Microsoft Project, and you can see when I put the cursor here, it says easily collaborate with others to quickly start and deliver winning projects. So that's a marketing strategy or some kind of thing they use. And this is Primavera, which just says P6 Professional 18, the name of the software. So here, P6 Professional, that means Primavera P6 wins this competition of which is the best software for construction project management. I would always prefer Primavera. Microsoft Project is also good, but that's for basic project management, not much in detail. Using Microsoft Project, you can manage one project at a time. Using Primavera P6, you can manage any number of projects at a time. You can manage the whole company in using this software. The whole enterprise you can manage. It's not only about project management, it's about enterprise-wide project management. The maximum number of trainings that I deliver, not in India, but abroad, are for Primavera P6. That's the, I would say, the emerging software nowadays. You know, it's being used a lot outside. In India, people are still not using software for project management. As you might have seen, that if you go to any construction projects, they're actually relying on whiteboard. They create Gantt charts on whiteboard and do it manually. Lots of errors are possible, and they don't even try to track the projects. I'm talking about smaller projects. I'm not talking about big projects. Smaller projects in the sense, housing society which has 30 towers or something like that. Each tower having 25 story or 30 stories. That kind of project I'm talking about. It looks like it's a very small project, but it's actually a big project. Lots of residential apartments are there, but people are not using software here. So that's a problem. And it also depends on the preference and what kind of approach they are using for project management. And if you go out, you'll find that people actually use these projects, these software to make things easier and to avoid the errors which are there in project management. So we have Microsoft Project and Oracle Primavera. You can see this is the interface of Microsoft Project. Quite similar to the Microsoft products, all the Microsoft products like Microsoft Excel. You can see this kind of interface you'll find in Microsoft Excel, but the working space is quite different. You can see this is a Gantt chart. And then we have Primavera P6, which is the best in project management. The maximum trainings I deliver are for Primavera P6 only. The trainings for outside countries, not India. Now, building information modeling, we have 3 softwares here. Apart from that, we also have ArchiCAD. ArchiCAD, which was discussed in 3D modeling, that also can be used for building information modeling. There also you can put information. So we have Revit architecture, Revit structure, Revit MEP, as well as ArchiCAD, which is from Graphisoft. All these 3 are from Autodesk, as you can see. So architecture part, structure part, and MEP part. MEP means mechanical, electrical, plumbing part. All those parts of the structure of the building structure or any kind of structure you can take care using these softwares. It will cover everything. So you can see this is Revit architecture. You can take care of all the materials which are used, all the dimensions, all the components, interior designing, exterior designing, everything. Whatever Graphisoft ArchiCAD can do, Revit architecture also can do the same. It's also about the preference. I would say ArchiCAD is easier as compared to Revit architecture, but Revit architecture is vast as compared to ArchiCAD. Revit structure is also there, which is used for the structural detailing. We can see the detailing of the structure can be done very easily using Revit structure. Then there is Revit MEP, which takes care of mechanical, electrical, plumbing, MEP works and all. For surveying and GIS, we have Total Station and QGIS. And I'll show you the results that you get from here. So first of all, QGIS is used for GIS mapping. Simply maps, the Google Maps that you see are created based, using GIS only, using GIS technology only. Okay, so there's some methodology that is used for creation of these maps. So Google Maps is an example. Various other kinds of maps are created using GIS. So you can see this is the interface of QGIS, and I'll show you this here. You can see, first of all, this is Revit. Inside Revit only, you will find all the three: Revit architecture, Revit MEP, Revit structure. And QGIS, you can see this is QGIS, which I'm talking about. Total Station is not here because Total Station is actually, it's not a software which you can install in your computer. It has a software, but specifically it has a hardware, which is a machine itself. It's a machine, and that machine has both hardware requirements as well as software requirements. So that's why this is a Total Station. You all might have known. I'll come to Total Station, but this is the interface of QGIS. You can see using QGIS you can do a lot of things, and you can see you can create a map like this. So I actually was delivering one internship in a college, in a government college, in two colleges actually. One was the government college, and one was a private college. Both were near to each other, and this I was delivering, I think, two years back. And these two colleges were near the near Goa border. And what we were doing was, in that internship, one subject was GIS and Total Station. So what we did was, all the students and me as well, this was the college, you can see. So what we did, we took the points of all the important, we took the coordinates of all the important points in that college. As you can see, this is a map of that college. So using Total Station, we took all the points, all the building points, pond. You can see this is a pond, this is a tree, this is a flagpole, these are some shops, there's a temple as well, these are the road. We took road points, tree points, there was a bridge as well, and there was a beach after a few kilometers. Here on this side there was a beach, but we didn't go till that point. But it was still here only, and we ended the whole survey. We collected all the points using Total Station, and then we came to the came to the classroom. We used QGIS to input all the points, and we got this map from QGIS. So it created this map just by using those coordinate points which we collected using Total Station. So I don't know why in colleges we are taught about about this plane table survey or chain age, or various other things which are not useful actually, even compass bearing and all. Maybe these are useful for basic understanding, but actually you should not spend more time on those things. You should spend more time on this machine. This is a machine that is very helpful, that is in demand, and any construction industry will need this. They can't do their work without this. So if you know how to operate Total Station, it's an added advantage in your resume. because it's a big thing. It's not a very small thing to know total station. I actually, when I was working in the construction industry, the surveyor who was the senior surveyor of that site, that construction site, he actually went for a holiday. It was Durga Puja, so he went for that holiday for around a month. A month actually, he was absent. He took a long leave. So there was a need for a surveyor. So what I did was, just before he started his holidays, uh, uh, 1 week before, I learned the total station from him, everything, how to take points, how to put the points on the ground from the drawing and everything. So I was actually the senior surveyor of that construction site for 1 month, and that was a huge opportunity for me. And I actually learned a lot of things. I did few mistakes, but then again, I improved on them, and it was a nice experience for me. And now I can operate any total station uh, in the market, and that's the kind of confidence it gave me. And you can see this is something which is actually not taught properly in colleges, where all the engineering colleges have to improve. From the second or third year only, they should start training students on total station. That should be the prerequisite. Just like AutoCAD, total station is very important. Total station, you can collect the points, you can put it on AutoCAD as well. This kind of map you would not get using AutoCAD, but you can get some lines or something. Not this kind of a map, not this kind of symbol or detailing, but some kind of plan you can get using AutoCAD also. So AutoCAD and total station, QGIS and total station, both of them can be used together. And this kind of map can be created very easily. You can see these are the legends. Okay, this is the north direction. This is the actual north direction of that place. It's not just put for no reason. And this is the scale. This is the actual scale. We actually started from 1000 comma 1000. You can see this is 1000 and this is 1000. So 1000 comma 1000 means this point. This point was our starting point, 1000 comma 1000. That was the starting point, and then we started the survey in all the direction. And during May, I also plotted the COVID-19 cases, active cases in India, till 13th May, 12 a.m. So after that, I stopped tracking these cases because it went out of limits. So I thought there's no use of tracking these. We already have some websites who are tracking these cases. So initially, it was new, and I thought GIS can be useful. So using QGIS, I can, I used to put these values and get some understanding of what exactly is happening. But now it has, went out of control. Maybe it is now in control, but still, it was rising very quickly. So I just left this thing, but I have few maps, few plots from that time, and you can see this is one of them. Till 13th May, these were the number of cases. And this kind of thing you can create using QGIS. Any kind of plotting you want to do, you can create a map like this. You can even open Google Maps here in QGIS, and you can draw something on Google Maps if you want to locate something. Lots of things can be done. This is just few. So QGIS is also very useful. And very important thing, that QGIS is free for all. It's an open source software, QGIS. The full form is Quantum GIS. GIS means Geographic Information System. You can just go to QGIS website and you can download this software for free. That's Quantum GIS, and that's open source. The one that is not open source and also used widely is called ArcGIS. ArcGIS is also an alternative for a GIS software, and that can also be used. But that is a paid version. You can get a crack version as well. But I would suggest you to start with QGIS, Quantum GIS, learn everything, and then move on to ArcGIS. Okay, these kinds of things you can do. Next, quantity survey and estimation can be done using these two softwares, Excel and AutoCAD. I have few courses going on where I'm using Excel and AutoCAD for quantity surveying and estimation, where we estimate the quantities of various structural elements. in a building, various materials which are used. So using Excel, you can do the calculation. Using AutoCAD, you can measure various structural elements, their dimensions and everything. So both of them can be used for quantity survey. You can see using Excel, you can create some kind of a formula, tables, all the calculations can be done here. And using AutoCAD, you can do the measurements, right? You can create some kind of a sheets as well. Traffic and transport planning, we have PTV Vism, and PTV Vism can be used for signal designing, traffic flow study, simulations, and all that. Traffic simulations you can do using PTV Vism, like that. If you want to design a traffic signal, you want to check the behavior of an intersection, how the traffic flow is happening. For that, you can use PTV Vism. Then for statistical analysis, we have IBM SPSS. I actually started training on this particular software I think 1 year back only. This was something new for me, and I'm also I'm also looking for more softwares in statistical analysis. There is also MATLAB which can be used. I'll also explore MATLAB more, and that can also be useful. So IBM SPSS, I have delivered few trainings, but the need for these kinds of trainings are from outside only, outside India, not in India. I don't know if they use these statistical. They might be using it. It's a well-known software, SPSS. It's used specifically for statistical calculations. You can see these kinds of graphs. You can create lots of calculations. You can do just like mean, median, mode, standard deviation, and all that. You can also come to some kind of conclusion here. So finally, I would not take a lot of time from you all. I would conclude the whole session. So in conclusion, I would like to say that there is a lot to learn and explore in civil engineering as far as application of software is concerned. One can find their field of interest and then try to learn the software in that field. That is the thing. You first find your interest, then find the software. Don't go the other way around. Don't start exploring the software first. First find your interest. Are you interested in designing? Are you interested in drafting? Are you interested in GIS? Are you interested in total station? Are you interested in structural modeling? Are you interested in architectural modeling? Are you interested in basic data analysis or statistical analysis? So first you have to find out your interest. And if you have found your interest, you have decided, explore various softwares, learn the basic concepts and everything about that subject. And the most important, just learning the software is not enough unless you know how the software is working or calculating stuffs. So work on your basic theoretical concepts as well while learning any software. I thank all of you for attending this webinar. I hope you all enjoyed this session. And yeah, so that's it. From this webinar, I would request Mr. Yaman to finally conclude this particular webinar. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Vivek, for such an informative session. I hope
Thank you.
people will able to understand the importance of software and which software they want to go. As you said in your concluding slide, that we should know that which software is actually we want, and after knowing the criteria, then we should you can say that work on that software. So thank you once again. And there's a one question that was asked from Gaurav, that what are the basic requirements for PC laptop to run all the softwares that you had mentioned?
Yeah. So basically, what you want is you would just require a PC, computer which has a good RAMs. A RAM should be good. The SSD. Nowadays, people are using SSD instead of the hard drive that we have. So that's faster. So those can be some kind of improvements that you can have in your computer. Apart from that, always look for graphic cards, better graphic cards. So The laptop which I'm using is actually 3 4 years old. I will also be looking into a new laptop now, but the thing I would be looking into is whether it is fast, whether it has good RAM space, and also the graphic card. Graphic cards are very important if you will be using graphical softwares. What graphic memory is there, and how much how fast it can be to use. All the gaming laptops, all the gaming laptops actually have good graphic cards, good quality graphic cards, so they can be useful for graphical softwares like ArchiCAD, Revit, AutoCAD, and all those. But the basic softwares like Excel, Microsoft Project, Primavera P6, they don't have much requirements because they are database softwares, so they don't have much requirements as far as laptops or computers are concerned. But the graphic oriented softwares like ArchiCAD, Revit, all these will have some requirements. For them, you can consider laptops or computers with good graphic cards, gaming laptops specifically. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So, anyone is having any kind of a query, you can unmute your mic and ask your doubt or any query. Okay, there is a question from Pankaj saying that what is the working principle of three prism staff?
Working principle of three
Three
prisms,
prism staff.
three prism staff. Where do you use three prism staff? Three prism stuff you use while taking points in a while you're using total station. You have two options. Either you can use a three prism staff, or you can we actually call it prism only in at construction sites. We just use the term prism. There is also an alternative for prism, which is a sticker, which is a reflector. So actually the prism or the sticker is actually a reflector, which is used for total station surveying, okay, land surveying basically. So what what are the use of these components in total station is simply that when you're using a total station, how the total station works is it sends a laser beam. It sends a laser beam to that point, and that laser beam has to reflect back so that you can measure the distance, right? So if that laser beam doesn't comes back, you would not be able to measure the distance. So these are the things which I usually teach you during total station sessions, and how the distance of any point is calculated. For that, you need a reflecting surface. So you have two options there. One is the prism, and the other is the sticker. If you want accurate measurements, you use prism. Otherwise, sticker is also a good alternative. At construction sites, we actually prefer sticker because that's handy, that's small, and you can use it very easily. It's easier to hold. In case of prism, you need a staff itself, and you have to place that staff at the point where you want to measure that coordinate or the distance. And prism simply reflects the light perpendicularly, even if the light is coming from any direction. So it's actually the aperture, or you can say the area which it covers for the reflection is high as compared to the sticker. From any direction, if the light or the laser beam is coming from the total station, it can reflect back. So that's the use of prism, and it is simply based on the principle of reflection, how the light reflects. And I think that's a basic principle. If you're using a mirror, if you simply use a mirror, it will just reflect the light which is coming perpendicularly, right? If there's a perpendicular, if the light comes in the perpendicular direction, then it will reflect back in the same direction. If the light is coming at an angle, it will not reflect back to the same point. It will diverge at some angle, which is the principle used for in reflection. But in case of prism, it is made in such a way that from any point, if the light is coming, if the beam of light is coming, it will reflect back to the same point. And that's why it is used in total station. Yeah. So it's simple reflection that is there. That's obvious. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So I think let's conclude this session. And thank you so much, Mr. Vivek sir, and all the participants. And okay, there's a one question also came, sir, in the chat box, that how a civil engineer fresher work in freelancer because they have not significant knowledge in starting journey.
You, it's very difficult to become a freelancer as a fresher. As a fresher, you should not prefer freelancing, because you should first learn to do various stuffs, and then you should go for freelancing. As I said, I could have not become a freelancer just after graduation. That is not possible. First, spend some time on the field, doing some job, maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, totally depends on your requirement. And if you feel that the job is not actually helping you grow, helping you yourself develop, then you can leave that job and start doing some other work, maybe freelancing. Because you just have to see if the job becomes repetitive, if you're doing the same thing again, every day, just leave that job and look for some alternative. If there is no learning going on, then you can switch the job and you can look for alternative. One alternative can be freelancing. So that's the thing. First, have some experience, and then uh, you know then you can go for freelancing. and and again, if you uh, talking about the job, if you want a job and all, the very important thing is maintaining your profiles online. Because if you're not visible to the recruiter, recruiters will not be actually interested in you. They would not know that you exist. For that, it's very important to create a profile on LinkedIn, keep it updated, and put all your work there. Whatever work you're doing, whatever interesting thing you're doing, just put it there. So I'm just putting my LinkedIn link on the chat. You can also take a reference of that. That's my LinkedIn link. Using that, you can connect to me. And this kind of profile, if you have, recruiters will have a uh, you know would know you, who you are, what you do, and everything. They would know that, okay, this is a person who is into this field. And they can also look at your projects, your experience, your certifications. Nowadays, do not rely on resumes or CVs. Rely on profiles online. Okay. So LinkedIn is the best platform which you can use to explore these opportunities, whether it is freelancing, whether it is a job, a simple job. For me, freelancing would have been not possible if there was no LinkedIn, right? People spend too much time on Facebook, on Instagram, and uh, you know, all other social media applications which are of no use. They won't give you any job. You are actually contributing to them. You are actually contributing to Facebook. If you're using Facebook, you're making Mark Zuckerberg more and more rich. But what are you doing for yourself? uh, that you have to think. So for that, I think LinkedIn is the answer. Create your profile on LinkedIn, put all your work there, just tell to the world what you are capable of doing, and there will be recruiters who are looking for you. They just search on LinkedIn. If we have a people who is if we have a person who is expert in this field or that field, and this way you can improve. And just send connections to people who will matter to you, maybe in your field, civil engineers, faculties, teachers, then project managers. All of them you can send your request, and you can connect with them, talk to them, and also follow them and see how they do their work. And you can learn a lot of things through LinkedIn. So that's the suggestion I can give you. To all the questions which you have, the answer can be on LinkedIn. You can connect to new people, and you can talk to them, and they will guide you a lot. Not only me, there you will find lots of people there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. There's one more question that Sanjay has asked, that which is a better software for civil engineering student?
Which is the better software for a civil engineering student? Better than what? Better than? Are you comparing it with any other
Yeah,
software, or you are asking
three
in
3D.
3D? I would say for 3D, when you say 3D, it's not very specific. Is it 3D modeling? Is it 3D architectural modeling? Is it 3D structural modeling? If it is architectural modeling, there are two options you have. One is ArchiCAD, another is Revit architecture. If it is structural modeling, then Revit structure. Otherwise, ETABS is a structural modeling software which can also help you to design various things. So I would say ArchiCAD, and you can go to Graphisoft website. There you can, you know, get ArchiCAD for 1 year. For 1 year, it is free, so you can use ArchiCAD. Revit architecture is also there from Autodesk. That also you can use. But start with ArchiCAD. It's easier. Then you can move to Revit architecture, right? So
Okay, thank.
yeah.
So it's another one question came from Shrikant that to get a better experience in civil engineering field, what is the better step for a fresher?
The better step for a fresher is to look for opportunities wherever they are, because this question is not specific. Like, what's the experience of, what are the projects that fresher has done? How many projects is he or she involved in? What is his or her interest? All of that I have to look into. Then only I can suggest a particular step that they should take. But the very basic thing that they should do is look for new opportunities everywhere. Try to see where they lag. See where you are lagging. It's not like just completing your BTech is not enough. And it's not like you will learn everything in BTech. You have to learn lots of things, and you have to look into where are you lagging. What are the things you don't know, which is required for getting a particular job. Okay, so just improve your profile, add more and more skills to your profile, learn new things, work on projects, new projects, get those projects from internet. You can get lots of projects from internet. Design a building, design a beam, put it on LinkedIn, let people see it, and there will be someone who is interested to hire you at any point of time. So that's what I can say for a fresher. Otherwise, if you're interested in designing, go for MTech, masters in structural designing. That will be a better option, because you can't become a designer just after graduation unless you have worked somewhere for long. So for a civil engineer, I would say the first step you should take actually is spend some time as a site engineer. Become a site engineer initially, look for site engineering jobs, spend some time there, then move to any other field that you want, because everything comes to the site. Everything that we do, whether I'm using Total Station, AutoCAD, ArchiCAD, Revit, all the ultimate result of it will actually go in the form of a drawing at the construction site. So if you understand how work goes on in a construction site, then it will be an added advantage for you. So spend time at site, even if it is for free, even if you're not getting paid for it. If someone hires you and says that I would not be able to pay you, but you can spend as much time as possible on the construction site, just say yes and join that opportunity and take the full advantage of it. Learn various aspects of site engineering. You would get a lots of knowledge, and then see where you are interested in. Okay, so just spend more time on construction sites. That's the something that people miss out a lot. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. And I think all the queries has been sorted out. And
Mhm.
I posted a feedback link, so I will be giving. It's 11:38 already, so
Mhm.
until 11:50, the feedback link will be open. So thank you so much, sir, once again for giving your valuable time. And I hope we will be coordinating in future again.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Yaman, for inviting me on this particular webinar. I hope all of you enjoyed this session and you have learned something new, which you might not be knowing earlier. So it was a nice experience for me as well to deliver this webinar. Thank you all for joining. And I'll be leaving this meeting now. And all the best to all of you. If you have any queries later on in future, I've already provided my LinkedIn link. You can connect with me and let me know if there is any queries or doubts, or you can also contact Yaman sir, and he will also be helping you with those queries. Thank you all. I'm ending my call now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And thank you everyone for giving your valuable time. And as I told you, the feedback link is available. Once you had done the feedback link, you can switch off your meeting. It's 11:50 a.m. So kindly do fill the form properly. And in this pandemic, please stay at home and uh, you know keep stay safe and keep safe. Okay, so thank you so much once again. And whatever the webinars that we will be organizing in future, we will definitely going to share with you all. I have your email IDs and your contact number also, so I will be doing that. And thank you so much once again for that.